January the 20th. It's Tuesday. We didn't have a meeting yesterday as City Hall was closed in observance of Martin Luther King's birthday. Before we start the meeting, we'll have a prayer led by Councilman Ken Hussey. And then please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll start with a quote from Dr. King, who said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" We pray this evening for all of those who serve our community, whether through elected office, through public service, through public safety. We pray for those who serve our country, those especially abroad, right now defending our freedoms around the world. We ask your blessings upon this community. We ask your blessings upon the work we're about to do this evening, that we make good judgments and guide our community forward. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thanks, Ken.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Once again, welcome. At this point in time, we'll have roll call, please.
Branch.
Here.
Costellas. Here. Graham.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Hussey.
Here.
Medine.
Here.
Mihalovich.
Here.
Prather.
Here.
Scrivener.
Here.
Ward. Here.
All right, we have a quorum tonight. At this point in time, we'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as printed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. No miscellaneous agenda items, no public hearings, appointments by the mayor. At this point in time, we'll entertain a motion to accept both A and B of appointments of boards and commissions.
So moved. Second.
And also liaison and council appointments. Still first and second. Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Branch.
Aye.
Costellas.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Medine.
Aye.
Mihalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Scrivener.
Aye.
Ward. Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we'll have a presentation from Mr. Lockwood on our multi-purpose project.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to report that progress continues on a positive note toward our partnership with Lincoln University. Things in the works right now. Our architect is seeking cost estimates for all the subcontract services for engineering as part of the design work, and is working up a proposal that is scheduled to be presented to the Lincoln Board of Curators for approval on February 5th at their Board of Curators meeting, and ideally that will follow for approval by the Parks Commission on February 10th at our next meeting. The memorandum of understanding and operating plan are under rewrites presently from feedback we've received from some recent meetings, and we're working to identify methods to cover the operating shortfall on the building, and trying to refine our revenue estimates from new information that has been made available. So I think things are moving forward as rapidly as they can right now, and probably the signing of the architect will be the first major commitment or expenditure of funds toward the project, and looks like we should be there in a couple of weeks. So be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Bill? Bill, I've got a question. I know at one time, and maybe this is for Drew too and Steve, and I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but I know originally, as we talked about the Parks facility, it was my understanding, at least I think, in these chambers, that Bill's office, that Parks offices would be moving to the new facility and out of the annex. Is that still the understanding? Because I know at one time there was talk about us making the annex possibly a courtroom. And what I'd like to do, even though I only have 5 or 6 meetings left, I'd like for Steve and Drew, if it's okay with the council, to at least come up with what that could do. And because I know it's something you guys have been wanting to do for a long time. So just want to kind of say that, if no one minds, at least to see what those costs possibly could be to renovate that for a courtroom. All right? Okay. Any other questions for Bill? Bob?
Bill, you mentioned revenue shortfall. Do you have a number, or are you just anticipating that there's going to be a shortfall?
We don't. We start out using some revenue projections that later proved to be inaccurate as far as student activity fee numbers, so Lincoln has refined those and given us some new numbers. As a consequence, we're going to have to go back and rework our whole staffing plan, and we're discussing hours of operation right now and things like that. So we've got to have a few more of these details nailed down before we can really feel like come up with what we think is a good, accurate budget, and determining what the fees and charges are that we're going to be charging for rental. We're kind of working on a draft proposal, kind of outline what we think might be a recommendation we'd like to present to the commission. So all of that feeds together to determine what kind of revenue will be generated to support the operation.
Yeah, rental being rental to outside groups that might want to use the
Right,
facility.
and some we'll have to consider some of our current policies and program charges for local programming as well, to be able to capture some revenue from those programs to help support the building as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Announcements by the council or staff. I have one to make today. Missouri Special Olympics awarded Jefferson City and the Jefferson City area their new Campus for Life facility to be built at 179 and Highway 54 here in Jefferson City. This was made possible. It's a 44,000 square foot training facility for their Training for Life campus. It's 15 and a half acres, and it was donated by the Farmer Holding Company and Tweehouse Excavating. As I had said in our pre-meeting earlier, talking to the CVB and Randy Allen, it's roughly about $1 million worth of salaries for our community, and nearly $1 million, close to $1 million in tourism dollars. So it's something we should be very proud of. I know it's something that you as a council did give money towards that on a sewer extension. It was $300,000, if I'm correct, Matt? Yeah. Okay. So appreciate everyone's job there. And also Steve Kroll worked very, very hard behind the scenes on that. So it's definitely a win for our community and a great job. Anything else on number 8? Seeing nothing, we'll go to the consent agenda. All those in favor? Or, I'm sorry, I need a motion, please. Second. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That will show as unanimous. Bills introduced. We have first reading of 2014-105.
An ordinance amending the code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri pertaining to reserved parking.
Matt.
Yeah, thank you. As the clerk indicated, this is a amendment to our parking code, and it's basically a cleanup that changes the words from parking director to public works director. So it's just a holdover from previous sightings in the code.
Any questions of Matt? On 105. Seeing none, we'll have first reading 106, please.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri amending Section 19401, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule J, Parking Prohibited, Subparagraph A of the Code of the City of Jefferson pertaining to a portion of Jefferson Street.
Matt.
Thank you. As clerk indicated, this is an ordinance that would remove some additional parking on Jefferson Street just north of Fillmore. An issue about site distance was brought up through a citizen request, and it went through the Transportation and Traffic Commission, and they recommended approval. Basically, it will remove parking for 135 feet north of Fillmore on Jefferson.
Any questions of Matt on 106? Seeing none, we have first reading 107, please.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri amending Chapter 19, Streets and Highways, Schedule G, Stop Intersections, Subparagraph B, Other Specified Intersections of the Code of the City of Jefferson by addition of Yorktown Drive at Rolling Hills Road.
Matt.
Yes, and this is kind of another cleanup of our code. Basically, with the opening of the new St. Mary's, Rolling Hills is now the through street that goes through, where before it dead ended. So Yorktown was near the end of where it used to dead end. There's no stop sign or an ordinance backing that up, so we're adding a stop sign, and this will be the code reference to it.
Any questions of Matt? Mr. Graham.
Yes, Mr. Marash, I know this is not pertaining to the actual stop sign itself, but I know that we had talked about with the residents that lives on Yorktown and Rolling Hills Drive about doing a traffic count or a speed study. Did we ever do that? I need to get back with those residents on Yorktown Drive real soon to give them an update on that study that was supposed to have been done when school had started back up.
Right. We had did the initial study before the hospital really opened up and counted the cars and did the speed study through this area, especially Rolling Hills area. And then we had told the residents that once spring hit, coming up here probably in March, early spring, we want to make sure we capture the school traffic as well. That's what we had before. And typically we wouldn't do them in the wintertime, just it'd typically be snowing, cold. We might go back to that yet, but you know, these are battery operated devices. They don't do very well in the wintertime, so March time frame we'd be doing that study again and then reporting back on it.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Carlos. Any other questions? All right, first reading of 108, please.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending Section 19401, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule A, Speed Limits, Subparagraph G, 40 miles per hour of the Code of the City of Jefferson pertaining to speed limits on a portion of Mission Drive.
Matt.
Thank you. As the clerk indicated, this is the speed limit, officially placing it in the code for Mission Drive, which is the new interchange serving the St. Mary's Hospital. We just go back and review our codes periodically and make sure we have all the proper citations in. And this will add Mission Drive. It's currently signed at 40 miles an hour and was designed that way.
It is signed at 40?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions, Matt? All right, first reading 109, please.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, amending Section 19401, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule J, Parking Prohibited, Subparagraph A of the Code of the City of Jefferson pertaining to a portion of East Dunklin.
Matt.
Thank you. This is this ordinance would remove some additional parking on Dunklin Street in the area of employment security where the new mid-block crossing was added. Basically, remove another 100 feet of parking to the west of Jackson Street. Basically, that's another 4 spaces, but after we constructed that, we were watching and evaluating how that was working and decided that it would be best if a few additional cars were removed in that area so people could see a little better, especially now that we have directed people to cross in a certain location. It was discussed at the Transportation and Traffic Commission, and they recommended approval.
All right, any questions on that? All right, first reading 1010.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a contract amendment with George Butler Associates Incorporated in the amount of $254,774.69 for the design of Stadium Boulevard, Jefferson Street, and the Highway 54 off-ramp as proposed in the Highway 54 and Stadium Boulevard Interchange Traffic Study Report.
Matt.
Thank you. Okay, as the clerk indicated, this is our design agreement with George Butler. It's pertaining to the Stadium Jefferson work west of Highway 54. You might recall we're doing the work presently on the east side of the highway. And both of those contracts will be in support of the Capital Region expansion. We have already done the traffic study on this portion, so now this is the design agreement to get this project ready for construction by 2016. There are some federal monies involved here. The city-county portion, we're sharing this project with the county, and that's about $50,000 of that $254,000. The remainder would be paid through STP funds from MoDOT, administered by MoDOT. The project basically, traffic study indicated there would be a roundabout at Stadium and Jefferson, some additional lanes off the highway down to that, and some other traffic lane additions through that corridor there. Be some right-of-way to be purchased with this project. Just trying to give you kind of all the details here. Our construction estimate right now is about $2.1 million, again shared by the city and county, and still there'd be another $500,000 coming from the feds to help build that project as well. Be happy to answer any questions, but one other thing it would do is help alleviate the traffic backup onto Highway 54, especially during school time.
Any questions of Matt? First reading. All right, moving on, we'll have first reading of 111, please.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with Cole County setting procedures for joint city and county capital improvement sales tax projects.
Matt?
Thank you. And this agreement basically pertains to the one right above it, the one I just discussed about the design agreement with George Butler. This is just the agreement between the city and county indicating we'll split the cost 50-50 on this project.
Any questions there? All right, first reading of 112.
An ordinance amending the code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri by authorizing the mayor to issue a hazardous travel advisory.
This sounds scary, I just got to say it. Go ahead, Matt.
Now, well, if you look at the code, there are certain things the mayor can do in emergency situations, and I think one of my staff was at a conference where this was discussed, and we're talking about major incidents like maybe something that happened in Joplin or something where we need to ban certain travel on certain roadways, and this just firms it up in the code that the mayor can do that, and there's a process laid out in the code with this that there has to be agreement of various parties, police chief, myself, city administrator involved in this as well. But during certain times there may be some catastrophic event, whether it's weather, lots of things could fall under this, but it gives the mayor some authority to implement one of these if need be.
All right, any questions on 112? All right, moving on, first reading of 113, please.
An ordinance amending the code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri by increasing the number of members of the Facade Improvement Committee to 7.
Janice.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This bill would amend the city code, specifically Chapter 7, Article 11, which is the Facade Improvement Committee, by increasing the number of members from 5 to 7. This bill would ensure that the number of members more clearly mirrors the number of members on other boards and commissions.
Any questions of Janice on 113? All right, thank you, Janice. Next, we'll have bills pending, third reading of 102.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with Tow Pro LLC for towing and storage service of abandoned motor vehicles.
Chief.
Thank you. The city towing contract recently expired, and when I say tow contract, that encompasses the towing of city-owned vehicles within a 25 air mile radius, and then additional special tows, most often directed by the police department for such things as abandoned vehicles or crime-related vehicles. A committee of 5 employees reviewed 2 no-cost proposals. They also spoke to references and did an on-site assessment. They also made note of TowPro's, one of the bidders' commitment to pay $7,601 to the city, which was significantly higher than the $730 offered by the second vendor. The choice was clear, and the staff recommends the adoption of a contract with TowPro LLC. Might also add that it provides for 4 one-year renewals.
Any questions on 102? Any debate? Roll call, please.
Branch.
Aye.
Costales.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Medine.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Scribner.
Aye.
Ward. Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we'll have third reading of 103, please.
An ordinance amending the code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri to allow the holder of a state-issued liquor license located outside of the city to obtain a temporary sales permit for special events.
Mr. Hilbert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Staff noticed a little bit of a glitch in our system in that to have temporary alcohol sale, to sell alcohol anywhere but your current primary residence for the sale requires a special permit. We noticed that in the code it doesn't actually, you have to have your city license before you can get a temporary permit to serve somewhere else. Just as an example, Taste of Jefferson City has some of those. So what we wanted to do is to clarify that so long as people come in, get the temporary permit, and have a state license, they can have a temporary license inside the city. It also extends the temporary permit to 7 days and allows sale of liquor in its original package. So in other words, they could sell it as a beer can or a beer bottle. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Drew on 103? Discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Costales,
Aye.
Graham,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Hussey,
Aye.
Medine,
Aye.
Mahalovich,
Aye.
Prather,
Yes.
Scrivener,
Aye.
Ward, Branch.
Yep.
Motion passes. Next, we'll have third reading of 104. Yep.
An ordinance approving an amendment to Urban Renewal Plan for Progress Urban Renewal Project Number MOR-45, Urban Renewal Plan amended 1997.
Mr. Hilpert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Urban Renewal Plan is a document that it's required for some federal funding, and it's implemented essentially by the Housing Authority. As the council knows, we've got to deal with Housing Authority to purchase their parking lot that's Broadway and often discussed for the conference center proposal. In order to make the sale dust, the Urban Renewal Plan has to be changed. The actual technical amendment is that it's authorized to be sold to a developer. This would authorize it to be sold to the city. So because we have to approve the Urban Renewal Plan, we actually have to approve this change before the Housing Authority can sell it to us. The Housing Authority has already approved the change. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Drew on 104? Debate? Do you have something, Carlos? Okay. Debate? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Graham,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Hussey,
Aye.
Medine,
Aye.
Mahalovich,
Aye.
Prather,
Aye.
Scrivener,
Aye.
Ward, Branch,
Aye.
Costales.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we'll go to the informal calendar, and the sponsor of this bill dealing with ride sharing is Councilman Larry Henry. Mr. Henry, what's your choice this evening, sir?
At this time, Mr. Mayor, I would like to leave Bill 2014-100 on the informal calendar.
Okay, is that okay with the rest of the council except for two? All right, sounds good. Next, we'll go into resolutions. Entertain a motion, on Resolution 2014-31.
I move that the council adopt Resolution RS 2014-31.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and second. Discussion. Matt.
Thank you. This resolution would allow us to participate with the county in bidding a sanitary sewer reconstruction project with their street and stormwater project, which is in the county in the Woodward subdivision. We've had some overflow issues in that area. The purpose of doing it this way is will have the street torn up and some other things going on, and so this gives the county assurance that we will pay the portion for the sanitary sewer work. And it's estimated to be in the range of $120,000 and be paid for from the wastewater fund.
Okay, any questions on Resolution 31? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Henry,
Aye.
Hussey,
Aye.
Medine,
Aye.
Mahalovich,
Aye.
Prather,
Aye.
Scrivener,
Aye.
Ward, Branch,
Aye.
Costales,
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we'll ask for a motion on Resolution 2014-32.
I move we bring up Resolution 2014-32.
Second.
Okay. Staff member is Bill Lockwood.
Yes, this resolution would authorize the filing of a recreation trails grant to continue work on the Greenway Master Plan development. The area in question is in the Frog Hollow 179 area. We've had 3 previous recreation trails grants in other areas of the community. This particular one would provide 80% of costs up to a maximum of $200,000 in grant money.
Okay, any discussion or questions from staff on 2014-32? Seeing none, debate by council. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Hussey,
Aye.
Medine,
Aye.
Mahalovich,
Aye.
Prather,
Aye.
Scrivener,
Aye.
Ward, Branch,
Aye.
Costales,
Aye.
Graham,
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have 15. This is an opportunity for the public to speak on any topic that they would like. From the gallery tonight, we have Mr. Leonard Steinman that has signed up. Welcome, Leonard.
Leonard Steinman, 110 North Lincoln, Jefferson City, Missouri. I would like to thank Mr. Crow, Randy Allen, for the accomplishment they have accepted today. Very, very proud of what they had done. We finally got something away from Columbia, thank God. And I'm challenging staff, mayor, council, 28th of February, Lake of the Ozarks, down by Camp Bahichi, which is Lake Park 4, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, to get one of these nice sweaters where you get into the water and actually do something for somebody in that Special Olympics, because every dime that is made in that Special Olympics goes towards building that building that we're going to put in here so we have more job opportunities offered to the city of Jefferson. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard. Appreciate it. Number 16. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just say so. I didn't have anything to do with that. I mean, Bill Lockwood and the mayor and council and a lot of businesses and health agencies and banks and all kinds of folks
was
put
definitely
a
a
good
community
group
effort.
together. So you did that.
Okay, any council or staff discussion of presentation topics on 16? Okay, any new business from the council? Any unfinished business? I do have a little bit of unfinished business. Per the clerk, the final list of candidates came out today. In the first ward, it's James Branch by himself. Jim, congratulations. Laura Ward, same thing there in your ward. Ken Hussey in the third ward, congratulations. Carlos Graham in the fourth ward, probably one of the most famous wards in this city, sort of. No. And Mark Schreiber in the fifth ward, Municipal Judge Cotton Walker unopposed, Brian Stumpy unopposed for city prosecutor, and for the office of mayor, there are 6 candidates: Bob Scribner, Leonard Steinman, Carrie Turgeon, Edith Vogel, Roy Wiesman, and Richard S. Groner. Good luck to all those candidates. Any other new business or unfinished business? All right. With that, I'd call on Mr. Medine. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. That's 27-7.